$60 trillion is about to be able to flow into the crypto market. What could some of this money do to the price of XRP? Could it send it into the 3 to 4 digit range? The answer is absolutely yes. Today, I've got a ton of really good information to show you. We have the founder and CEO of eToro mentioning XRP. We have some fresh insights on atomic settlement and why blockchain is undeniably the future of the next financial system. We're also going to dive into some major Ripple and XRP updates, talk about the Clarity Act, and discuss how Ripple is solving problems at scale and what all of this ultimately means for XRP holders. Let's dive right in. Let's start here. Digital Asset Investor posted this regarding XRP's price. There is $60 trillion worth of assets globally sitting in retirement accounts with zero allocation to digital assets right now. Think about this. Every 1% allocation from that $60 trillion adds $3,000 to Bitcoin's price. From my perspective, a 2% allocation is actually conservative. Why? Because all of those assets are currently stuck in a monetary framework where the authorities have flat out told you they want to depreciate it by 2% a year. Why wouldn't those accounts take 2% of everything denominated in a melting ice cube and stick it into a completely different protocol? Just that alone would take Bitcoin to $175K, up more than 50% from where we are now. We are still incredibly early. We're just now seeing the early signs of institutional adoption. Look at Norway, the world's largest sovereign wealth fund with almost $2 trillion in assets. They've been increasing their exposure to Bitcoin and digital assets. It's still a rounding error for them right now, but when the world's largest sovereign wealth fund and the world's largest endowment at Harvard start buying in, it opens the door for everyone else. Other endowments and sovereign wealth funds are going to follow suit in some very interesting ways. But answer me this question. As Bitcoin miners swallow up more and more of the infrastructure, you now have two companies holding over 51% of the mining power. What happens if those companies merge into one mega company? A mega company that could control which transactions get approved and which get denied on the Bitcoin blockchain. What could they do with all that power, and would Bitcoin even be safe in that situation? Furthermore, what is stopping a country like China from developing 51% of all the miners in the world? They could easily pump hundreds of billions of dollars into mega factories and take over. It's something to think about. Now, let me show you the math on XRP. 1% of 60 trillion is 600 billion flowing directly into XRP. What could this do? If it's a 1-to-1 ratio where $600 billion just sits in XRP, that changes the base price to $12.96. But we know how markets work. Fresh inflows buying fresh XRP off the open market create a multiplier effect because there's simply not enough liquidity to go 1-for-1. So, if we are looking at a 25x, 50x, or 100x multiplier effect, we could be talking about a $255 XRP, a $500 XRP, or even a $1,000 XRP. For context, 600 billion with a 100x multiplier puts XRP at a $60 trillion market cap. I also took a look at what happens if 2%, 3%, or 5% of that $60 trillion goes into XRP. Obviously, this is fairy tale territory, like buying a lottery ticket and hitting every single number. This is if the moon, the sun, the earth, and the universe perfectly align. But if you look at the breakdown for 2%, 3%, and 5% at flat rates versus 25x and 100x multipliers, I know it looks pretty juicy. We just heard from the eToro CEO who was talking about how their clients started trading Bitcoin back in 2013, and by the end of 2017, 95% of their clients were trading Bitcoin, ETH, and XRP. He's still a massive fan of blockchain and digital assets and knows we are in the very early stages. Alright, I'm going to cut that clip off there. There were only 5 seconds left anyway. If you're wondering what I'm doing waving my hands on camera, I'm communicating with my dog. We were just having a standoff. You couldn't see her because she's off camera, but she was teeter-tottering, not knowing if she wanted to come in or go out, or if I was staying at the desk. Anyway, back to the news. We also had the CEO of Franklin Templeton interviewed on a major network talking about the future of tokenization in financial markets. She explained how banks are going to adopt digital assets because it is the undeniable new infrastructure. She also pointed out that not all cryptos are created equal. Why is that interesting? Because Franklin Templeton has officially filed for a Bitcoin ETF, an Ethereum ETF, a Solana ETF, and an XRP ETF. The CEO herself is saying to only invest in assets with real utility and a use case. At the end of the day, those are the 4 assets they are most bullish on. Man, the sky is the limit here. We are going to the freaking moon. Obviously, we don't know exactly how long this will take, but if you zoom out and see where we are and where we're going, this is why I'm always so happy. This is why I'm walking around singing songs and doing weird dances. We've been right about a lot of this stuff. In her interview, she brilliantly explained the benefits of blockchain. She noted that financial services companies spend a ton of money reconciling data between legacy mainframe systems, and how atomic settlement on the blockchain makes all of that go away instantly. She used the word Bitcoin, but what she's really describing are other crypto assets. She's not going to sit on national TV and drop names like XRP, Stellar, or Chainlink. She's going to use the term everybody at home understands, Bitcoin. But ask yourself, can Bitcoin actually be used for the banking systems she's describing? The answer is no. There's no AML, no KYC. Banks are not using Bitcoin to tokenize or create stablecoins. She went on to explain how blockchain proves ownership, allows for immediate payments without counterparties interfering, drives down costs, and increases security. You see why she's the CEO of Franklin Templeton, right? This lady is smart as a whip. She's describing the exact architecture of the next financial system, lowering fees, running everything on blockchain, full auditability. AI mixed with blockchain is a regulator's wet dream. The IRS and the SEC can run validators on whatever blockchain they choose, like the XRP ledger. They can see the transactions, verify in real time what is legit, and instantly catch anyone trying to fudge the system. History is littered with thousands of cases of financial institutions or insiders committing fraud out of sheer greed. Blockchain is going to make sure that a lot of that simply cannot happen going forward. Think about how many people won't be hurt by financial fraud in the future. When we buy XRP, XLM, XDC, or Chainlink, we are owning a piece of what that future financial system is going to look like. We know banks want public blockchains, and yes, there will be private elements for customer privacy, which is totally fine. We get the best of both worlds. Moving on to regulation. Senator Cynthia Lummis stated we will have a crypto market structure bill on the president's desk. Originally, it was targeted for the end of September, but now we are looking at the end of 2025 or hopefully before Thanksgiving. This could easily get pushed into 2026 if both sides of the aisle don't sit down and work it out. We absolutely need bipartisan support here. You never want just one side making the rules. You need both sides voting yes so everyone gets behind it. So what happens if the Clarity Act is passed tomorrow? What is the implementation timeline? After passing both chambers of Congress and being signed by the President, regulatory agencies like the SEC and the CFTC are required to adopt implementing regulations. Experts expect them to move quickly, but in practice, full rulemaking and enforcement usually takes anywhere from a few months to a year. Once passed, we get the removal of legal uncertainty. Crypto companies will finally know exactly which agency to register with. Platforms focused on spot commodities go to the CFTC, and investment contracts go to the SEC. Existing companies tangled in overlapping regulations can finally launch new products with confidence. Finally, I saw this update. Ripple has become a founding member of the TRM Labs Beacon Network. This is described as the first real-time crypto crime response system uniting the industry and law enforcement to combat illicit activity. I am so glad to see this. How many people get scammed every single day in crypto? I'm sick of it. I was just ranting about this on my live stream yesterday. I am so tired of people telling me that somebody pretending to be me contacted them, they sent money to a platform, and now they can't get it out. It happens on X, Discord, YouTube, Telegram. It's everywhere, and it makes me sick. How many times have you seen an AI-generated fake video of Brad Garlinghouse promising to double your XRP? Remember, no one is ever going to give you anything for free in the crypto market. Assume anyone messaging you randomly is a scammer, and never give out your seed phrase. Keep yourselves safe. Ripple joining the Beacon Network shows direct industry leadership. It highlights their commitment to proactive compliance, transparency, and the long-term legitimacy of the space. It directly addresses regulators' concerns about illicit finance, and it protects the XRP ecosystem, which is crucial for its utility in real-world payments. Alright guys, we're hitting the 16-minute mark here. I'll try to include the link below for the Franklin Templeton video if you want to watch the whole thing. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please hit that like button and leave a comment down below. Have a truly fantastic weekend coming up. It's always an honor to spend this time with you. Thank you so much. Also, I have just built a course for beginners, intermediate, and expert crypto users to better understand the XRP ledger and Ripple the company. If you're interested in getting that course absolutely free, there is a link right down in the description. Please let me know what you think after you've taken it. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you in the next video.